Murphy Prototypes car, and Jonathan Hirschi in the green and white number 18 shaking a fist at Matthias Besch, who just appears to drift sideways into Hirschi in the corner. A lack of grip, I don't know, but it's certainly not a race to remember for the TDS racing team. And there they are in the pits once again, with more damage to repair. Another set of tyres to go on, and a very disappointed team. They've worked so hard all season, and this was not the finale they wanted. Well, back with Joe to sport now, and championship contender Turvey narrowly avoiding a disastrous end to his fight as Suhail Ayari spins in front of him. Well, undeterred by that spin, and Turvey chasing down Murphy Prototypes. Now to battle for second position, but Hirschi is on the defence and needs to hold that position. Well, it almost looked like Turvey would make a pass, but as they come around with headlights blazing, it's apparent he's not managed to do it. The number 4 Boots and Energy race car leaves the pits and then accelerates into the first corner to spin. Oh dear, that is a combination of cold tyres and driver error. Well, here they are once again, having rejoined the race, and once again they are spinning. What a nightmare lap for the new driver from the Middle East, not what he had intended. And a replay here, another spin at turn 1. What is going on? That's the LMPC car number 46. That's Colin Jones at the wheel, who will be frustrated by that. Well, here he is again. He's still going, but he spins again, and this is like a replay of the lap we've just seen from Boots and Energy, both spinning in the same places. But this looks to be more mechanical for Jones, as he needs to make his way back to the pits. Well, here's Murphy boys leaving the pits. Have they had a driver change? Yes, so now New Zealander Brendan Hartley is at the wheel, and the Alpine car just behind him on his hip into turn 1. And Hartley spins again. This is crazy. We've seen 3 cars spin here, and no sign of any oil or any other cause. Well, Brendan restarts the cars and carries on. And here another spin, this time for TDS Racing, who have had their worst weekend of the season. And here we see a performance of ballet on tarmac as the Ferrari and Porsche performers synchronised spin, and the TDS car once again takes a trip off the track and around the back of the 2 cars. Well, here are the Alpine amongst the battle for the second of the GTE class between the Matma Performance Porsche and the Pro Speed Competition Porsche. And with the Alpine car in the middle of the 2 Porsches, a charge for Pro Speed to pull ahead. Here we join the 3rd place car, Jota Motorsport, who is 9 seconds behind the 2nd place car of Brendan Hartley, who isn't even in the picture with that gap. Well, less than an hour remains now, and there is the Alpine car of Panciatici. He is the race leader and seems to be out on his own with a 1 minute 14 second gap between himself and 2nd place Murphy Prototypes. We have just less than a third of the distance left, and he has a great advantage now over Hartley. Well, here is a car who is battling for the GTC Championship, the Acuria Cross car of Ollie Milroy, who this season has been relatively quietly consistent and in the points. Another podium for them would mean they can enter the final round with confidence in their chance to take the title. Klaus Bachler made his debut at Hungaroring with Christian Reed and Nick Tandy in the 77 Porsche, and after an early strong performance from his teammates, they remain first in class in the GTEs with 37 minutes to go. And the Monaco-based SMP Racing showing that they are on fine form in the GTC class. And the Ram racing car of Johnny Molam going strong after a double stint from his teammate Matt Griffin. Back with the Courier Cos then, who are being tailed by the number 54 Ferrari in the white and blue. Well, here they come, and the pressure continues from the Ferrari on the Z4. And they've gone off in a battle to get past the Z4. Both cars look to be out of the race. Disastrous for both of them. But Joe Twyman, who is currently driving the Z4, is making an attempt to keep the car running, reversing back and coming around to rejoin. But there is considerable damage And despite all Joe's efforts, at this late stage, there is no chance of them rejoining and finishing this race in Hungaroring. The car to limp home to the pits. A sad day for the Kurikos boys. Back to the race then, and with 16 minutes remaining, we can see the Joe to Sport here with Simon Dolan at the wheel. And here Klaus Berkler once again in the 77 Porsche, holding first in class for the GTEs. And Murphy's boys put in an epic drive to close the gap between them and the Alpine to bring the 1 minute 14 gap down massively. A very credible drive from the New Zealander, Brendan Hartley. And battling for second in the GTEs are Ram Racing and Matmut, almost touching as they make their way around the corner, and so evenly matched in power and performance. Incredible racing. And just a slight edge for Johnny Molam. And there is that gap between first and second placed LMP2 cars, and for Hartley, what a drive. He's brought that gap down to just 4 seconds with 10 minutes left. It's not a realistic expectation to see him win, but he's not giving up trying. And on the final lap with the clock at 0, it's the Alpine bringing the car home to take the checkered flag and win here at the penultimate race in Hungaroring. Celebrations, and deserved they are, in the Alpine garage. Their first win of the season. As Ram Racing across the finish line, and so do Phaeton Performance. Well, for the GTCs, it's SMP Ferrari with Babini, Larigin and Scheiter. So champagne time once again for our race winners, Senior Tech Alpine, and Murphy Prototypes in second, J to Sport in third. Well, the classification in LMP2, it's Tirio by TDS Racing, and joint second with Senior Tech Alpine at 73 points. The LMPC class with 96 points, it's Gary Hirsch and Paulu Chatin. And in the GTEs, Ram Racing of Molim and Griffin lead with 88 points. In the GTC class, it's SMP Racing from AF Corsa with 75 points. Well, the final race of the season, and the showdown took place at La Castellet, the Paul Ricard circuit, in the south of France between Marseille and Toulon. Known for the Mistral Straight, this has one of the fastest straight lines of the season. Championship winners are yet to be decided. In contention in LMP2, Oliver Turvey and Simon Dolan, Nelson Panciatici and Pierre Rag, Pierre Terrier and Matthias Besch. The GTE showdown is between Molam and Griffin, and Tandy, Becher and Reed. The gloves are off in the GTC class between the two Ferraris of SMP Racing and AF Corsa. And in the LMPC, the duo of Gary Hirsch and Paulu Chatin look certain to be champions. Well, it's been quite the season so far, and the fans are here in force to witness the championship decider. Even former world champion Alan Prost has come along. This is the chance for photos, autographs and a quick bonne chance to their favourite driver prior to the race. The atmosphere is electric, and the drivers know that today is the day it will all come to a head. But first, time for a spot of showing off from David Coulthard and the Red Bull F1 car, giving the fans more than they bargained for. Well, the final race of the season is about to begin, the championship decider, and this year it has literally gone down to the wire. The pace car peels off and it's a textbook start from Oliver Turvey, who started from pole, just behind the green and white car of Murphy Prototypes. And into turn one with the LMP cars well ahead of the GT cars, it's Jota Sport ahead, with the others following very closely indeed. So Turvey pulls out a nice lead from Murphy Prototypes, who are being challenged by TDS Racing. Remember, this is the decider, and Turvey knows that getting ahead is important to his challenge for the title. Senior Tech Alpine are in with a fine chance of this championship too, but here you can see they are way back in 5th position, which they won't be happy with, as Moran Racing coming alongside TDS Racing to take 3rd position. Remarkable. So it's Jota Sport, Mofis Boys, Moran Racing and TDS Racing as we follow them pushing hard, only hoping that no one makes a silly mistake. And as I say that, there is the TDS Racing car coming over the blue asphalt with a tyre missing from the left rear of the car. You can see the car limping. And what a blessing for them that happened so close to the pit entrance. But this is bad news for TDS Racing, as their fight for the championship, having had such a strong start to the season, will be diminishing before their eyes. Here a beautiful sight of 3 Ferraris. You could almost throw a blanket over them, as there are the 2 GTE cars accelerating away from the GTC SMP car and along the long straight here at Paul Ricard. Well, from one SMP car to another, and this time the LMP car making a move on championship contender Pierre Rag. In the Senior Tech Alpine, they appeared to go backwards in this race, and the title was not looking promising. Well, they remain close, however, and into turn one, Rag has certainly put on the pressure and made every attempt to get the position back. Ex-Formula 1 driver Christian Klein joined Natasha Gashnang for the final race of the season and showed how Moran Racing have gone from strength to strength in 2013 with a 2nd position and the LMP2s at a 1/3 of the distance. Murphy's Boys weren't happy with that though and wanted to prove that they had what it takes to be race winners. And after their epic performance in Hungary, they were hungry for a win. Disaster struck at just over half a distance for championship leaders in the LMP class after the driver changeover meant that Gary Hirsch was unable to start the car, and that meant investigation work and repairs to the team. Well, the car was pushed down the pit lane to be wheeled to the pit for repairs. Meanwhile, in the GTE class, Ram Racing were looking strong, with Matt Griffin still in the car doing a double stint, and were well ahead of their Ram Racing teammates in the 53 car, who were 2nd in the championship. The GTC cars were putting on a fine performance once again, with Luca Pasciani and Lorenzo Cass battling for 2nd in class. And it appeared to be barely nothing between them as they continued to battle into the final hour of the 3-hour season finale. Back with the LMP2 cars, and Moran Racing and Jota Sport were very close as they continued to lap the GTE cars, with the only female on the grid, Natasha Gashnang, at the wheel of the blue Moran Racing car. She showed she has what it takes to keep up with the men. look at that. Perfect overtaking from the LMP cars. You couldn't script it better as they go around either side of the Ram Racing Ferrari 458 and Gashlang just getting ahead of Dolan into the final corner. And we see them accelerating along the start-finish straight side by side once more. The Jojo Sport of Dolan not giving up that easily as he edges forward and ahead.